Tesla's robo-taxi rollout could drastically hit Uber and Lyft's revenue soon.
I really want to kind of try to capture this pullback. So if, as we have our major Tesla catalysts and robo-taxi becomes more active in more states and they ramp up the numbers of robo-taxis, there's going to start to become a negative impact on Uber and Lyft. And depending on how aggressive that rollout is, could hit Uber and Lyft extremely hard. And if those rollouts are extremely aggressive and in major cities, it could even be a plausibility that they start to eat into Lyft and Uber's revenue way sooner than anybody thinks. You know, it could literally be a couple quarters out before we start to see revenue decreases from Uber and Lyft because of Tesla. If Tesla is saying they can cover half the population by the end of this year, especially if they can cover it at scale and truly service those entire areas, half the population is essentially half of the U.S.'s revenue, or half of Uber and Lyft's U.S. revenue. And also, part of the reason why I'm playing both of them is because one of them might be impacted much harder. Why would one of them be impacted much harder? Maybe because Uber has so much revenue that they know that Tesla's going to impact their revenue significantly. Uber has so much revenue that Tesla can easily impact their revenue. On the flip side, you can have a company like Lyft that has so much less revenue be impacted because they're smaller and they can't afford to have as much of a loss. So that's where like the two instances of kind of the same thing, they both get impacted by revenue, but one of them could be impacted a lot worse. And this is one of the bigger things I'm actually worried about is acquisition. So if I have like, let's say like Lyft, because they're the smaller company, let's say Lyft, I have my Lyft options and for way out of the money that, you know, basically that Lyft's gonna go way down in value, that if Lyft is to get bought up on the way down, then I'll never get near to my strike price. And if I don't sell before that happens, then my options will actually become useless pretty much at that point in time. So with Lyft, I'm actually more concerned about something like that happening than I am Uber, because Uber is just a bigger company. Now, Tesla could come in and buy Uber like it's nothing. But I don't think Tesla feels like they need to buy Uber. They're like, why spend that money on Uber when we're just gonna dominate them and take what they got anyway? Which I'm gonna get to that. That's part of what I was saying Elon's not talking about. None of the Tesla people are talking about how much they're going to disrupt them. They're just saying we don't need them. But I still think it's plausible that, you know, Tesla could find out that, oh, the demand is not there as we thought it was going to be. So we do need to buy Lyft. I think they would try to buy Lyft because it would give them a little bump, but the acquisition cost would be, you know, a tenth of what Lyft or of what Uber would be. The government will probably step in and say something about a monopoly, that Tesla has a monopoly and that they're not allowed to buy both companies. Probably won't let it drop that low, partially because of getting into things like I'm talking about with acquisition. But Tesla might wait until they drop 75%, then buy them, because why not buy them on a 75% discount? But if Tesla starts to mention anything about buying them, which is one of the reasons why Elon and them may not be, and any of the Tesla team, mentioning anything about this, but if there starts to be a hint that Tesla might buy Uber or Lyft, then that stock might stay elevated due to that potential protection. So Tesla would not want that security or confidence. It better they let Uber just drop, and then out of nowhere they just buy them. Out of nowhere, boom. Same with Lyft. And that's the way these corporate executives have to think and have to operate.